comments and your remarks, what you said. Hopefully we'll have about 20 minutes of open discussion as well with everyone. And I was told to start with Myanmar. Are you okay to start first? Yes?
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the floor to the first to the Myanmar. As Myanmar is a very hot topic in the international community nowadays, so I'm very pleased to start with this panel. So in the age of transition, we are facing many difficulties and many challenges in terms of SDG goals. So I'd like to specify in this panel about citizenship issue regarding to my country. So inclusion is very important to be a part of community. So for that, you need to be recognized from the communities in terms of legals or in terms of like connection to the community. For that, citizenship is one of the tools to recognize to be a part of community. So in Myanmar, we have many challenges to the SDG goals and inclusion, as you may heard all about. So I'd like to focus the citizenship issues because we have like second largest community of statelessness. It's against SDG goal 2030 to be a fulfill of everyone to be a citizen of the country. So now today we are facing the challenges. I think it is very important to be an interreligious dialogue actor, to be involved in that case and to solve that problems. And we have a challenge, legal challenges. It's called 1982 citizenship laws. It's made barriers to get access to citizenship rights to the minority religious community. For example, like it's mentioned like it's categorized as three types: full citizenships and half citizenships, and another called gas or mixed blood citizenships. So it make people divided to the societies, and it make exclusion to the society, some societies. Now everybody might heard that Rohingya community being out of the country and living in the camp of IDPs in Bangladesh. So this is the one root cause of the citizenship issues in Myanmar. So in terms of interreligious actors, how they can involve in that case, and as Myanmar is a really religious focused country, Myanmar being recognized as a Buddhist nation. So Buddhist monks and Buddhist religious actors are really plays an important role. So in some communities, they are, how shall I say, they are the leaders. For example, in the village, if they talk, if they give speech, then everybody's followed like an order. So they are really a key person in the communities. So we cannot neglect those religious actors because they are really influenced in the community. So I think it is, related to SDGs because I'm talking all the limitations. So I will go to recommendation. I think that's better. So for the recommendation, we have to recognize as a religious leader, as a stakeholder, so that they can get involved in the making decision of their concern, and we have to push to them to fulfill our goals, to get involved with them into the dialogue tables, so that they will feel that they are a part of the decision making, and they might not against when we do like deployments, when we are implementing deployments goals. So it means that we will not left behind them. I think I will start with that in mind. I'll follow with others. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting three major points. One is the acknowledgement of the ranking of various status for citizenship as we follow Myanmar case, those who have no citizenship at all, those who have partial one or conditional one, and we know this is a plight for many people in Myanmar as well. Also, you emphasize the highlight of the importance of the religious leader because people listen to them and the need for them to speak, but you also emphasize that they don't really all of them speak. And they still need to be encouraged, still need to be pushed to come to the table and really assure them that if they speak up, the risk will be less to them. Maybe later on in the question you can think of a story and example from your initiative. I am sure many people would like to hear from there. Mr. Mugu, can you tell us your experience in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I'm from Nigeria. My name is Mugu. As we're all aware that the SDGs are blueprints for better and sustainable future for all, aim at addressing global challenges such as inequalities, poverty, justice, peace, and the rest. The role of religious leaders or religion in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Nigeria is a nation that is known to be number one in terms of religion. And I can say emphatically here that the population of Nigeria is getting to almost to 2 million. 200 million rather. 95% of the population of Nigeria are religious people. Everything out of any population, you will get 8 that are religious people. And therefore, the role of religion and religious institutions cannot be overemphasized. Number one, religion serves as a tool for shaping the character of every Nigerian. I want to say that Nigeria is standing on the wheel of religion. That you cannot take it away. We eat religion, we sleep with religion, we drink religion, it's part of us. And therefore you cannot separate Nigeria with religion. Religion has helped in molding and in bringing unity. Now, religious institutions have played actually vital roles when you look at goal number 4 in terms of health, goal number 5, which talk about gender equality, and goal number 4 is quality education, goal number 4, gender equality, and 16 that we're talking about. And so, religious leaders have a way of penetrating the government. I think I have slides that we need to be showing as I'm talking along. And it is only religious leaders that can talk to the government and they will listen. And so in Nigeria, religious leaders and influencers, they are well respected. Now let's look at the only way we can constructively involve dialogue, for me, is to look at SDG 4 that talks about quality education, and look at SDG 5 that talks about gender equality and empowerment of women. It is so disheartening that men are the perpetrators of the problems we have today, but they are the ones that are discussing on behalf of the women. So for us to address these SDGs, we have to look at that. That women need to be involved in our dialogue. Thank you. She said something about women mediators in Nigeria. I know about that. So it's high time for us to engage women. It is high time for us to look at quality of education because this is affecting us. Limitations of SDG, of dialogue. It will interest you to know that even those who are talking about dialogue are not conversant with the concept of dialogue. And therefore, this is a big limitation. Again, in Nigeria, let me use Nigeria as an example, we have 2 major religions, Islam and Christianity. But there are other religions that are not considered, in fact, they consider them as cultist group. We have the Ekanka, we have Great Message, we have the traditional religion, we have the Ogoni fraternity. All these people are not called when we're talking about dialogue. So for me, it's a limitation. And another limitation of dialogue in Nigeria is the governance deficits. How do you call someone to come and discuss with him when he's hungry? How do you call someone to come and discuss with him when his father and mother was slaughtered in front of him? And they are battling with trauma. And nobody is talking about that. For me, this is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It seems that our fellows woke up on the limitation side this morning. They are emphasizing the limitations, victimhood, lack of inclusivity, and also lack of genuine, deep knowledge of the dialogue are three limitations that MOGO have decided to engage them. Of course, re-emphasizing women, the importance of engagement of women, and in his views, men are the perpetrator, yet women need to be coming and fixing the problem as well. We can have some conversation about that later. Our colleague from Indonesia, Dr. Amana.
Yes, thank you, Professor Abu Niman. Thank you to Kansit. This is our honor to be here to share our stories. I am Amanah Nurish from Indonesia. I work as anthropologist, mostly working about interfaith issues as well as environmental issues. I have been working with USAID in the program of climate change. So we work a lot how interfaith dialogue can be together with the issue of environmental crisis. So I just want to tell the story when I have been around across the country, like in Ambon, this conflict area, somehow one of the problem in the conflict area like Ambon, it has been connected with the issue of environmental crisis, among fishermen, farmers and villagers, the politics of natural resources and so on. So that's why I think how religious institutions must be involved in this big problem. So as we know that we are living in the age of transition. In one side, religion can be can be a tool of wisdom, but in another side, religion can also be evil. So this is kind of in the age of transition. Sometimes the role of religions is very tricky, But in another side, what is the transition means? That we also now having the problem of climate change, global warming, environmental degradation, and so on. So how we as religious institutions, as peacemaker, to connect with this reality. I think this is like what I am doing in Indonesia, for example. Just recently happened, we have like a rainforest initiative in our country that we have also from 900 religious leaders from 125 countries in the world. So I think this initiative, is very important because not only speaking about the theological issue in terms of interfaith dialogue, but this is more practical issues. We need more clean water, we need more fresh air, we need to make peace in the good environment, in the healthy environment, and so on. So that's why I think in terms of role on religious institution, we need to be working more practical rather than theological issues. So this is why in the anthropological perspective, when we discuss about the issue of climate change, mostly like Indonesia, let's say the example of Indonesia, we are containing 17,000 islands with 100 religions with hundreds local beliefs. So what happens in this kind of diversity of religions? And although we are mostly Muslim population, of course, yes, we are like
85%.
90, almost 90% Muslim population. This is what I would like to say. So the rest is indigenous belief that live in the forest area. The problem is that we have the issue of deforestation that really impacts in our cultural decline as well as spiritual decline, because people's greed, the greedy of human beings sometimes make impact of our spiritual decline and the richness of our culture. So I think what is the most important issue that I would like to raise in this conference is that for interfaith dialogue must be more inclusive and understanding in wider context in every level of society, including indigenous communities living in the forest area. And the last one, building more awareness and engagement of climate actions based on interfaith dialogue for SDG. Yeah, this is what I am working for Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we're doing very well in time. These fellows are very committed to time. They all finish under 5 minutes, so maybe I can do round 2. Rabbi, we went to the climate change in Indonesia, and we went to the rainforest, and also we've been told that development, poverty, and the climate change are 3 common areas that don't discriminate between Muslim, Christian, and indigenous, and it's a connection between all these groups, and it's the obligation of religious leaders to work on them. And another time, the challenge, I think, echoing what Mogu said, inclusivity. For the interreligious dialogue need to be inclusive, including indigenous people as well. Tell us about your experience in UK or beyond.
Thank you, Professor, and esteemed audience, it is a delight to be here. It is a real privilege. One of the things that always I feel when I'm with IC is the enormous impact that it has had in such a short period of time. This evening I'd like to present you with 3 slides. I'm going to talk about a program which is called Camp Unity, an attempt to create social cohesion through interfaith camping. But because of the limited time, I'm not also able to tell you about a separate project which is called Mitzvah Day, and that will be, a slide will be presented at the very end of my talk, and hopefully it will offer opportunity for us to discuss that during the questions and answers. First slide, please. The town of Elstree and Boreham Wood, with a population of roughly 37,000 people, is located in the borough of Hertsmere in the county of Hertfordshire, which is one of 48 ceremonial counties in England. Today, Boreham Wood is the seat for the Hertsmere Borough Council, and it strives to promote and to improve the economic, social, and environmental well-being of the area. The Council's 3 aims are to create a healthier, a safer, and a thriving community for all. They have sister city relationships in France and in China. In terms of composition, 84% of the population identifies itself as white, 67% of residents own their own homes, unemployment and crime rates are lower than the national average, but there are pockets of deprivation within the town, with 3 to 4% of children living in poverty. The idea of Camp Unity came from a meeting in January 2019 with the Lord Lieutenant of Hertfordshire, Robert Voss, who is interested in promoting interfaith and entrepreneurship. For those unfamiliar, the Lord Lieutenancy represents the royal family in the county, performing many roles either with or on behalf of Queen Elizabeth II. Next slide, please. By building partnerships with 5 local faith communities, Catholic, Evangelical, Protestant, Muslim, and Jewish, my aim was to melt social and religious barriers across communities brought on by years of self-segregation. That is to say, people live in the community, but they don't have any reason to engage with each other. And the second aim was to provide an equal opportunity for the children of the town. From May until early August, the partners met to plan the camp and its logistics, the site, the equipment, etc. Against the background of all of this planning, from 26th to the 30th of August 2019, for 5 days and 4 nights, Camp Unity Bournemouth was held at the nearby Welland Scout Activity Center, in which we had 35 children who participated. You'll see from the map that most of the religious communities are within 5 to 10 minutes walk from each other. And yet, as I explained, they really have very little interaction. So I believe that this project complied with parts of the 4 SDGs that we are focusing on in this conference, as well as SDGs of SDG number 1, no poverty, and SDG number 10, reducing inequalities. As faith leaders and trustees, we recognize our communities are robust but self-segregating, adding to a general sense of apprehension, misunderstanding, and stereotyping toward one another. We also recognize the problem of income disparity. We believe the first step was to bring together primary school children of multicultural and multi-faith backgrounds, engaging them and enabling them to develop friendships. Next slide, please. Camp fees were subsidized at £5 per day, which included breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus a daily craft and a sports activity and entertainment at night. We provided camp equipment for those who couldn't afford it. This enabled children from the lower income backgrounds to participate. As a planning committee, we felt it our obligation to show children a new way of engagement with nature and with others whom they might not regularly meet. In this way, we ascribed to SDG 16.6 and 16.7, developing effective, accountable, and transparent institutions at all levels, and ensuring responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative decision-making at all levels. To a degree, we also complied with SDG 16b, promoting and enforcing non-discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development. What is the constructive role interreligious engagement and dialogue can play in supporting the SDGs? I'll conclude by saying, in that the project was supported enthusiastically by some, but not all, of the community's religious leaders, as well as by several political counselors, we believe that our success was based on the desirability of the idea and the accumulated result of years of interfaith engagement through our faith forum, which meant that we knew each other and we trusted each other. Our 7 trustees, 4 men and 3 women, helped us to gain food grants and also to raise money from the borough and the county councillors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish all the speakers in all the conferences I go to stick to time under these 5 minutes and convey their case in such a systematic, clear way and apply the case as well. Thank you, Rabbi. Really, listening to this case, it's very clear that you don't have to live in a war-torn area to be self-segregated. Rabbi Jeffrey lives in UK, and he says self-segregation is the disease. And his cure to the disease was basically low budget, £5, $7 or $8 per person to take them for a camp and do a classic encounter, basically a dialogue or encounter the other in a safe space. Thank you for sharing that. And most important, it's an interreligious committee that organized that, because Christian could do this alone, Muslim could do this alone, but I think the joint aspect is the important. I'd like to go back to Myanmar and ask for a concrete example about your experience as well from the work that you have done, and maybe also, Mugo, if you have something, we can give you 2 more minutes. We've had a climate change, we have the camp, and maybe we can leave with 2 examples. That's your mind.
Thank you for the floor again. So as there are many challenges, but we didn't give up, and we are moving forward. So it is not at the age of transition and at the age of like democratization as in Myanmar. So Myanmar is now transition to digital shift to democracy country. We are facing many challenges in terms of transition, political transition, you can say that. So as my part of works is I'm involved in peace cultivation networks, so mostly we gather with religious leaders from different backgrounds. So we have a guideline for citizenship for religious leaders and community leaders. If in their community some people they don't have citizenship, the leaders can use that guideline to get citizenship cards. So in Myanmar, according to the 2014 census, 24% of the population they don't have citizenship cards. Means that even though they are living in the country, they are not recognized as a citizens. So it's very important if you are getting jobs or if you are applying for the government staff or if you are working for other places, it is needed. It is a business need for your career. So we are trying to fulfill those gaps with the leaders. And also we have guidelines for lawyers. We focus to the lawyers if there is like citizenship issue who are not getting cards, so we have a guideline with the lawyers. Now, we've been doing this work for 4 years, so now over 70,000 people get citizenship card around 12 townships. And next step, sorry?
70,000?
Yes, 7,000. 7,000, sorry. 7,000. Because it is very important to get like access to citizenship, right? Is related to fundamental human rights and also it's related to non-discrimination. Next step is we are going to do a structural change. It is 1982 law amendment. So now we have 11 network gathering to push to the government to amend their 1982 law citizenships related to human rights point of view. So this I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the concrete example. 7,000 people benefit from a campaign of advocacy for citizenship. That's something very concrete and affect people's life in a very concrete way. Mungu, do you have an example about interreligious dialogue, or you gave up in Nigeria? Take this,
No.
and bring me back when you finish.
Thank you. I think I have a lot of examples. That would not permit.
Just give us one. Give us one.
Yeah, that interreligious dialogue in Nigeria is key. I remember the baby that was given birth by KAICIT, that is called IDMP, Interreligious Dialogue Forum for Peace. It was established by KAICIT.
The platform, yes.
The platform, yes. And so I have been working with them. Even last Thursday, Friday, I was with them. This forum is actually working. For us, interreligious dialogue is something that is considered paramount because we have very big, let me use the word big religious leaders that are involved in this dialogue. You cannot remove the Sultan of Sokoto, you know him.
I know him.
You cannot remove Cardinal Onaiga, you know him. Out of that, these are strong men. Because Nigerians will respect religious leaders. So anytime they talk, we listen. And so for me, this is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So here's another example of involvement of high level in the platform. We have a quite number, lots of time for questions and also for observation. And I will take comments, questions, and of course it's a dialogical space. Feel free to use your dialogical ways of asking the question without blaming, but you can make the question hard or soft depending on your in your interest and the type of answer you want. And I welcome also our guests, Your Excellencies, whoever have a question or a comment about specific program, we would welcome them then. Okay, do we have mic? Thank you.